direction. Give me some direction. Able minds are working, open hearts are learning. Give me some direction.
I value him as a practitioner and a person to connect with over things I personally feel called to do in my business and personal life, because he helps me find direction and helps me go to a deeper level in consciousness so I can help make a shift towards authenticity and feeling free. And some of the biggest things in my life that I've been challenged with was at first an eating disorder. I'm a long-term recovering compulsive overeater. Then I was absolutely drained and scattered after I graduated college from community health, and then taking that scary leap of faith into the entrepreneurial world and starting my own business up in health and wellness. He has the capability and the skills in his personal makeup to actually get very specific details on what I need help to see, and then help me get direction as to where I need to focus my energy, which is crucial. Helps me feel relieved and comforted and supported beyond what words I could possibly even describe. I'll point out a little bit of how valuable his gifts are through kind of how we met, some of the things he's helped me uncover. So we first met at a place called Living Waters. He was offering sample healing sessions while I had booked a session with him outside of that. A friend of mine had come back and shared how powerful the session that he did for her and how powerful it was. And for her to say how powerful it was really showed something very valuable, because she's been to Reiki and healing touch and every healing modality. And for her to come back and have her eyes look like they're about to pop out of her skull in amazement, said it didn't matter the money amount, like figure out a way to make it happen to get a session done. And I did, and it definitely was up to those levels. So in this session, he was uncovering details with doing muscle checking and listening intuitively. He didn't show them to me until after the session, but he literally was drawing up all these details, and it was like a map of all the things that I somewhat knew I was struggling with, but there was so much more detail. So what really amazed me is he uncovered the phobia. The top priority was a phobia of heavy traffic. And it was like a light bulb went on, because that was the first time I was driving in Minneapolis, and I was terrified, like crap my pants terrified from getting into an accident. So he did eye movement to help my brain bring up that trauma and like rebalance it so I wasn't overwhelmed by it. The other things that shocked me is that we were uncovering in my thymus gland like a belief system of like, when I get on top, I'll show you. And I had suppressed immune system concerns for years. So for that to come and be set out of the thymus gland, it was like the puzzle pieces were getting put together. It's like, oh, well, duh, no wonder. Also uncovering the trauma at birth. I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, but in the details he wrote down, it was inability to bond with mother at birth. And at birth, I had been experienced legitimate rejection. So that made sense why I'd had so many issues with tonsillitis and stuttering and not knowing how to communicate my feelings and finding the words. So a lot of that stress that had been just hanging out underneath the radar, it just felt like it was just exiling, yeah, like just conscious vomit out of myself. And after the session, I felt like a weight had been left, like the 100-pound rock had just dropped. I felt like I could have flown out of that office. Yeah, more than that. I would say excitement, and also just the capability that you showed me of like your skills matched with this modality, that I felt happy and joyful because I wanted to go deeper than massage therapy. And I really wanted to learn a modality that could really bring powerful healing to humankind and also animals. And you showed me how this could be very specific and give people very specific answers as to what's blocking radiant, authentic, flowing energy and a feeling of freedom.
So learning massage, you noticed with other clients that it was only going so far, or that it had gone so far with yourself, like it was addressing physical or structural issues, yet you wanted to learn more about these components in like fetal life and
I wanted to go down to the deep waters of the subconscious mind and the body, and bring them up to the surface so we can make space. In my first session, I felt like I had space to live more authentically and experience a feeling of freedom. At the time, I had started up my business, and so I meant to work well, manifest, make things happen.
generate, manifest.
If I'm scattered, it's just like watching a tornado blow through a bunch of things. He helped me move from being scattered to very focused and getting grounded and knowing the specific details of what I need to do, where I need to direct my energy so that I'm not wasting a bunch of energy. With business, I needed more clarity. I felt like I was on this earth to do something very powerful and manifest a lot of changes to happen for humankind. Where and how and like.
Do I start with myself first to heal the planet, or do I try to heal everybody?
I felt like
that's a tall order.
I felt like I was looking at a fork in the road that had a million different directions, so I felt overwhelmed. You helping me find clarity helped me feel relieved. It helped me feel more calm and centered and uplifted to actually move forward and supported. But a lot of the challenges, as many business owners and entrepreneurs know come up, is it's a reflection of ourselves. It's our belief systems. What are the things that were blocking us? Like for self-worth, seeing belief systems of like, I have to work really hard in order to earn the chance to feel love towards myself.
You almost had a hiccup there.
Yeah. So it's a deep one. So, but I have to work really hard in order to earn that opportunity to feel love from myself and from other people. That's kind of the Midwestern hardworking consciousness.
The tyranny of niceness.
Yeah. I was holding on to some relationships where, or like a significant other that I had for years, and did love him dearly, but I was seeing that I was earning my self-value through being the caretaker. Not that they expected that, but in my brain, I was holding onto the relationship when it was actually causing me to be sick, because it wasn't authentic living for my long-term journey, and was blocking them from, experiencing maybe their optimum relationship. So I could see that in relation to like self-acceptance, I have to be with this person because I already committed to them. Things like that I was starting to see in my sessions and all the specific details, and how that was linked to my physical well-being. So like, also belief systems of like, I have to protect myself. The shoulders would round forward because if I don't protect myself, I'm going to be used. We looked at belief systems that weren't serving me anymore to help me get back into places of trusting my intuition on when and where to trust other people as well.
Discernment.
Yeah, and that's a big place of where I needed help because I was open to everything. So the scatteredness was factoring into, I'll just trust everybody, everything will be okay, which was just opening the floodgates, and I was getting overwhelmed, and then I had to my physical body would start to curl up after thinking about how much like overwhelmed that could actually create in a business.
Trying to protect you of what the brain was.
Right, and other people's vulnerabilities too. My immune system with like the other beliefs, it was like, if I don't stay hyper alert, then I might be used. Therefore, like that's how I ended up getting, chronic colds, and I felt like my system was really drained. And through BodyTalk sessions, it helped me see that all these belief systems, most of them are the subconscious is written from ages 0 to 5, so I could stop blaming myself for struggling with them for so long. And the way to actually have them released is having somebody such as yourself witness the very specific details, and that factors into the power. Like when you have somebody witness all the very specific details as objectively as possible, the natural innate wisdom of my own system just magically heals itself. So I could stop having to try so hard and to just open up to letting things flow, because I've let you witness me at a whole deeper level that maybe I couldn't fully connect with. You helped uncover details that I might have not given myself a chance to really dig up, or might have not had the patience to.
Emotional safety.
It's a beautiful gift.
Seeing how supportive all this was, you felt motivated to learn BodyTalk.
Yeah.
And then you went to California for the BodyTalk Gold Rush.
I felt like, like other forms of modality were like old rust bucket kind of car, and BodyTalk was like this powerful transformer. It was like this new ultimate toy. I was like, this is so powerful, I must go learn it.
Voltron, activate.
To help people, get out of the shell that we hold ourselves in from the conditioning, and how to help pull those layers back one at a time, because that's what I wanted so badly for myself. And once that started happening from our sessions, I wanted to see other people have that opportunity to like shift towards freedom. Yeah.
We said that at the same time.
Freedom! I felt inspired, and you kept encouraging me to like go to the trainings and take that leap of faith, again financially, to invest in that training, which was one of the best investments I've ever done. But your support to learn it a little bit ahead of time prepped me for being able to digest it when that came there and learn it at a deeper level. But you helped me get out of the left brain, got to do it by the rules structure, and helped me to tap into like
her intuitive gifts
yeah.
that she has.
Well, they were there, but he just kept poking me in the side, saying like, come on, tap into that intuition, that's where your power is. And I needed somebody like him to direct my willingness to open up to that and see that. And he kept directing me back and kept directing me back there. So he saw in me, he can see these things at a deeper level. So he just kindly like nudges me to go back to that. And it helps me take it to a deeper level. He was also still doing remote sessions, and that really opened me up as to how amazing that is too, because he would even just do a session and say, just go about doing your day. I'll send you the results of all the different details I see that's needing to be rebalanced.
How is that possible?
He would send me this stuff through Facebook Messenger at the time, and I'd be like, holy shnikes, how'd you know this? Like, I was picking up on like little bits of it, but you found what in my solar plexus and what was going on where? So his intuitive capabilities, without me giving feedback to him right then and there in person, and he opened me up as to like how beautiful the body is and where real power is in terms of like intuition.
Is it located in the cheek or shoulders?
It's everywhere.
A little bit. Heart.
It's right in this money maker.
Right in the teeth.
Yeah.
It's just in one tooth.
With the spinach that's left over in it. I recruited him to come to Duluth. Paid for his plane ticket. That's how much I value this guy and his capabilities of being able to project and see future projections. I knew I needed help with like business and growing and to accomplish the mission that my heart felt called to do, but I needed a lot of support, and I needed his intuitive skills. I needed his clarity and his perception and his willingness to take a step back and see more details, because sometimes I can be like a bull in a china shop, like off to the races, here we go.
Broken china shop.
Glass everywhere.
And the bull doesn't have any pants.
And I don't care too.
Wallet,
like I'll kick that glass over. And
no
just...
money's getting transferred.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bull doesn't have any money.
Hold the phone, wait a second. There's more details we need to take a look at. And that started to explore like the why process. And he opened me up to seeing the value of knowing why we do it, what we do, not necessarily just what, it's why we do it.
So not just necessarily how BodyTalk works and what it is or what you do, you wanted to see perhaps a larger perspective of why am I learning all these different modalities? Why is it that I want to contribute to make life more wonderful for those that I care about and that I see who are maybe in pain?
Absolutely. The why is like the strong foundation so that the business can naturally build on top of it. You helped me find out the very specific words. So working from desperation, but it was exhausting me.
Like in that I want to help everyone, and in trying to help everyone, I actually end up helping no one. Like those sessions are not as powerful perhaps as they could be. My energy levels are going down, so being able to go, I want to help everyone, to being like, what is my strengths and who can we specifically focus on that will see me and hear me and recognize my gifts.
Yes. He helped me to focus as to who am I passionate to work with and who leaves me feeling energized to work with, and how do I want to do that specifically so that I'm not just burning up energy on everybody and then feeling depleted after that. If it wasn't for him slowing me down to say, like, let's look very specifically and go deep into the details, I don't think I would have done that, or I just would have been more resentful at the concept of business and trying to be a healer in this world, etc. And
frustrated.
Yeah, and then that led to learning nonviolent communication, because learning how to communicate is everything. That's BodyTalk in itself. Everything is communicating. Life is flowing. Consciousness
is constantly communicating with itself. There's the feedback loop.
I learned through that process, I wasn't communicating with myself. I wasn't communicating with finding out what my needs were, how I was feeling, what was I noticing. And I didn't have a simple method of doing that. So introducing me to the nonviolent communication concept gave me a 4 simple part method to say, here's what I'm noticing, here's how I'm feeling, what's my need, and to make a very clear request. Because when I was not doing that, I would do the Minnesota niceness, just hold the facade and, oh, bless your heart. And that anger would get repressed into my throat, and then I'd end up seeing myself just doing the dishes, swearing underneath my breath in frustration that life wasn't working out. And I wasn't getting the things I wanted out of life.
You learned that by making like a clear, doable request. Did you notice something shift in like the throat chakra or anything having to do with the throat?
Definitely the throat, also the heart, root chakra in there too, because it helped me get out of the fight or flight mode, because I felt empowered that I had a tool to simply address challenging situations with myself, other people, also how to communicate to journey closer towards loving myself and loving other people, which is what it's really meant to do, and to see our needs as gifts. Before this, I always thought needy people were just too needy and they were a burden. But it was a reflection of myself where I wasn't valuing my own needs.
When you noticed how you've perhaps been educated to speak in a certain way, that was like a aha moment.
Yes.
And you wanted movement in a new direction that was more freeing.
Yes. And that the way I was educated was a screwed up way of getting educated.
You don't talk about your feelings, you don't talk about your thoughts.
Just shove it down, shove it down a little bit harder, and then you just might deal with your jaw pain where you're gritting all your anger in, and then wonder why you're having headaches and this and that going on. Yeah, but once I started to learn how to do this 4-part process through nonviolent communication, it was like a weight was lifted. I felt relieved.
Paradigm shift.
Huge. It was like mind blowing. And then when I started sharing it with my other friends that had no idea how to freaking communicate, it was just like deer in the headlights shock. And I saw the same thing happen to them, where they felt empowered, they felt uplifted, they felt relieved. Again, I'm so grateful that you've introduced this to me and helped me see how it's popped up in my sessions of not communicating for my needs is, linking to my heart feeling overwhelmed and triggering anxiety. It's pointed me back to say, like, it's directed me back to saying, like, this is the solution. Keep working it. It's going to help you long term, and it has.
So like all roads basically lead to the throat in some sense. If it's not expressed, it's repressed or it's projected out onto something else. So everyone inside of that lens or camera or whatever it is, the computer. We're in your computer. How did we get? We're in the computer.
Oh, y'all.
How do we get in the computer?
Mysteries of the earth. I love BodyTalk in general because it feels like it packs the most power because it is efficient and it encompasses everything. I see that it's the most valuable for your time, your energy, your money. It brings out that inner power that's within us, but it helps bring it out systematically, one layer at a time. I learned this at becoming a practitioner myself, that the results many times of the outcome of your session is heavily governed by how in-depth a practitioner witnesses the details of what's going on with your system. Is quite gifted at being detailed. It's just in his makeup, and I've even chatted with one of his friends that said he's been that way since he was a little kid. So
What friend was that?
There's some people that really focus on detail, and the fact that he can do that and witness it in you objectively allows the blockages of authentic free living to just collapse that much more efficiently. Like one session with him can be like 10 sessions with another beginner practitioner. That's what I've noticed. Like, he has a lot of power in his sessions, and they've been worth the time, money, and energy and effort every single time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't say how grateful I am for this guy. Check him out.